to build off of what Alex is saying, and Lily, what you were saying, people just don't recognize that this land wasn't Arizona. It wasn't a place with buildings and concrete. And it's hard to get people to understand, well, why do you care about immigration? Why do you care about these tribal issues? And that's what people come up to me and say things like that. It's not just an Arizona thing. It's a global thing, like you were saying. It's happening everywhere to anybody who's of color. And that's what the awareness is about. It's because it doesn't matter if it's Arizona, it doesn't matter if it's South Africa or Israel or Libya or anywhere. It's the exact same techniques, the exact same methods that are being used to kind of bleach your soul of who you are and turn you into something that you really aren't. And until we get people aware of what we're trying to do and who we are inside and who we were born, then it's kind of hard to get anything done. If we can't convey that I'm West African, that I can never pronounce. Yes. I mean, but we're all Americans, but that's just not how it is in this country. They want us to believe that. So that's why we have to address these issues from this racial perspective, because it's the only way that we can actually get the ideas out, discuss the ideas, and figure out what we're going to do to fix it.
Yeah, I have a question though. Do you have any flyers or information prepared right now, or
just the little flyers that we were handing out to get people here,
okay.
to tell them that
what does it say? Is there be like, well, who makes it? Are you making them?
Yeah, we're making them. I mean,
maybe get one with more detail and something, and I would be happy to go out and hand them out to people.
I have some now that just to get people, but it basically just says, the Facebook page, and we have these every Tuesday.
But no, I mean, just something a little more extended with the message, and so that way it gets somebody to think about, and then once they think about something, then they might think that, I want to check it out.
And even if you just email it to us so we can print it out ourselves, make a bunch of copies, then you don't have to, go through carrying a big box of papers, but just email it to everyone who's willing to print them out in their own, like we're from Chandler, so we just print it out in Chandler and go out there and do our thing there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I have a question. So is the whole flyer thing, is that to attract a larger group of minorities or to attract everyone? What's the point of the flyer other than trying to advertise the movement? What's the point of it?
Well, I think you're just to get the idea that what we're doing here, but also the educational aspect. You brought up the fact, we were protesting the 11th Amendment in there, but nobody knows what it is. But while we were in there, again, because the judge and prosecutor brought attention to it, everybody in there probably went home and looked it up. Like, why were they so mad about us protesting that? But for one, information, education as far as what the issues are, to feed on, the fact that we are, indigenous, native people, we are Americans, and we have our own cultures, religions, societies as well. But the issues, somebody brought up the prison industrial complex as well. I don't remember who said that. But, I mean, that's basically that's the continuation of slavery in the United States. If you look at the 13th Amendment this time, it says that slavery is illegal unless you're duly convicted in the court of law. That's when the U.S. justice system was born. That's when the 11th Amendment was born. That's when we were arbitrarily convicted. It doesn't matter what the evidence is, but they can put us in jail and make us, work for 15 cents an hour for 20 years for having a joint in your pocket.
Right.
So just the issues of why the system is the way it is, and how we, should be proud of who we are. We're Americans.
Are you part of in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street movement? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the financial issues, absolutely. I mean, Federal Reserve corporate cronyism, but I mean, our families are broken up because of issues. I mean, we're more affected by corporate cronyism, bank malfeasance because of the color of our skin. But the fact is, a lot of our families are broken up because of the system. Our lands are being further destroyed because of the system. And really, everything that we're about is kind of minimized and kind of put on the, basically just, it's not even important we're supposed to be Americans, participate in the system, and just accept everything that we're told, and accept everything that, you know, that they tell us that we're supposed to do.
Well, I just want to say my name is Renee. I feel extremely concerned with these issues, almost more than those issues when it comes to corporation. But one thing I need to stress is we're not going to get anything done unless we attract the majority population in this country, which is Caucasian. And now, because in the 60s movement, when Martin Luther King and the Freedom Riders started their movement, it was mostly black. And so they were the front runners. But then eventually, when they got the counterculture to embrace that movement, which was the Caucasians, then all of a sudden stuff started happening. You know, civil rights acts were passed. So what we need is attention from the majority population. And like to kind of touch base on this fellow's issue with kind of the lower class who don't have technology, who don't have way to get this information. Well, I'm just saying that tends to represent, be linked with the lower class if you're not having that technology. That's irrelevant. They are a minority. I don't care if Hispanics, Asian, African American, Native American, I said, is a minority in this country. Getting them all together is not going to change shit. We need to get everyone together, and we need to be fully bringing awareness to the whole movement, you know, and so pretty much making a case of that's apathy and affluence, which we don't condone. And so people need to remember, such as my wife said, that it is a global movement. This is in 1,500 cities, in Spain, in Mexico, in Chile, everywhere, in Latin America as well. So this is a global issue. So the point is I don't want this turning out to be like a sub-genre or a sub-movement. You know, this needs to be embraced by the movement. And so creating awareness in the movement, the whole movement, and having support from Occupy Wall Street, New York City, or Occupy Together, obviously. So we need to really stress and focus on that. And so the whole flyer thing, to me, is irrelevant. Right now, these revolutions, the Arab Spring, you know, in Spain, they had a movement in May. That was totally social networking. That was not, you know, grassroots flyers knocking on doors. That was strictly social networking. And so that proves that we can use that technology for our advantage. We don't need to try to do it the old ancient way of going out with the bullhorn and trying to spread awareness.
How about doing both?
Let's say, were you first?
It was him.
Yeah, when you mention other global reference, like I think we need to be wary about, you know, appropriating other people's struggles and revolutions, because many of this shit, like you mentioned, like Chile and like Greece,
right,
and the Middle East, is like they're very confrontational. It's like if they want to confront capitalism and the hierarchy and the tyranny that's going on.
Correct.
So it behooves people to recognize that and know that, you know, when you mention Malcolm X in the same breath, I mean not Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King, that's like a totally opposite. Like, you know, Martin Luther King, rest in peace, he was a good dude, peaceful man, but had a great impact on this country. But he was more about, you know, how can I buy in? Like, how can we get integrated? Like, and therefore, you know, suppressing radical change in this country and across the world. So, why don't we bring up Malcolm X? Because I mean, because he was a separatist. I mean, what's wrong with that? Like, you know,
actually, guys, do you want to touch base on this real quick?
Well, yeah. I mean, real quick example of everything you said about flyering. I think it should be both. I agree with what he said. I mean, we weren't there in Egypt or whatever was going on. Of course, on CNN, the sexiness was, Facebook, social network. But flyering, I mean, that's essential too. In my community, like on the Res, Hill River, like, we do this type of work on that level as far as social network, but at the end of the day, door to door is the best way, or talking to people and giving them a flyer and talking, because like that's how you're going to connect and have that, you know, show like what's going on, especially with elders. I mean, myself, like, to me, it's always important to have elders in our community be involved, or at the very least know what us younger people are doing, because they've been here and done that. So that's I think it's good to have both.
But because of what he said about how a lot of people are poor, or they can't afford to computers and stuff like that, that's why it'd be better to go out and just give it to people. Because not everybody sees what we see. Not everybody goes on Facebook. Not everybody. I mean, a lot of people do, but not everybody. You know what I mean?
Also that the thing is like you mentioned Greece, you mentioned the Arab Spring. You know, that's fine and dandy, but those are homogeneous societies. We are not a homogeneous society, and that's something we have to realize. Also, and I understand you want us to be a part of that movement, which is fine, and maybe we should be. But the thing is that we have to enter the movement on our terms. We can't enter it on someone else's terms, because the moment we start entering on someone else's terms, we have just sold out. And the issues that we need to be solved and that they have to recognize are not going to be, because they're going to dictate how we run things. And we can't do that.
Okay, I can dig that. One thing I must add is one of my heroes since forever has been Che Guevara. I love this man. He's a revolutionary. I don't know if you guys are familiar. You should be. The point is, his movement failed horribly, in my opinion. It ended. His revolution ended because of his violent tactics. So if it's going to be violent, I don't want no part of that. I love Malcolm X, Che Guevara. I also love Martin Luther King, but I respect Martin Luther King more because of him embracing the civil disobedience philosophy by Henry David Thoreau, another one of my heroes. And so the only way you're going to ever change things for the better positively, it is positively. And so, you know, I don't want this becoming, you know, we don't need the help of the other races, because we are all the same species, human beings. I'm half Mexican, half white. I come from both sides. My family's from Mexico. My mom's family's from America. So I come from both sides. And one thing I realized is that when you have a white family like my mom's side and a Mexican family come together and embrace each other's values and cultures, that's the one thing that's going to save this planet for the better. So I'm all for civil rights. But, you know, the point is, we gotta be in solidarity with the protest movement that started in Egypt. That started this protest movement. This is not something we're starting right now. We're a part of it. We're jumping on the bandwagon. What we're doing right now. We didn't just start this shit and out of the blue. This protest movement has been going on for centuries. This is called a progressive movement, is what this is. And so we need intellectuals. We don't need ruffians. We don't need thugs and gangsters to come up in here and try to do some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's my point.
Okay, let's get a new voice.
Yeah.
So I understand that I think we're all at different levels of understanding what's going on and what's happening in the movement and who's here for what reasons. But I think the reason for this council is to get some stuff done. So I know it's going to get late. It's going to be 10 p.m. So I'm wondering if we could just, I know people need to express themselves and people have things that they want to say, but I also think it's important to take action. So if we could like get to a conclusion, if we can, you know, just agree on some points and then have discussions afterwards, just so that people have to get back to their families or for whatever reason. If we can move on.
No, real quick, thank you for saying that. I agree. Like I mentioned, I did bring up what I mentioned about who I am, what's going on, and I have to, of course, every space I enter like this, I have to do Autumn one-on-one, sadly, like 5 minutes, which seems like a long rant, but it's just to get people on the same page. But what I did propose was the MAG action down the street. It's actually on the 15th, two weeks from now. So I'd like to throw it out there. I mean, there could be something, of course, in the middle that y'all can figure out now, but I would like to maybe in the next 2 weeks build on that, maybe come to the next meeting, or maybe outside of a meeting, a workshop or something to get people on the same page about the Loop 202 issue and how it's part of Canamex and NAFTA, and of course all the issues that it's connected here and fucking Missouri with. So like I would be open to other folks in my community from Gila River, from Salt River, from TO that can come up here and address that. I propose that as something as action the 15th 2 Tuesdays from now. But yeah, that's all I have to really say. The only reason I have to break down what I have to break down is because no one knows what Autumn is. I'm not Odom, I'm not Papago, I'm not Pima, I'm Thon Autumn, people of the desert, and I think we have to address where we're at. you know, literally, and I'm open to have those workshops because of myself, as someone who's not living currently on the reservation, I am privileged to be in a space like this and share this with y'all, because even my own relatives or elders are like, you know, I support you, but like, damn, why are you talking to the outsiders, because they don't get it. And my thing is, I'm half, you know, and I know y'all can get it. And I know that can make us stronger so we can come together around these points so I can support you and vice versa, you can support us. So, and I have zines here, I leave them on the ground about some of the border issues. The 202 one's kind of a simple right now, but that was my proposal, was the 202 MAG meeting, 15.